Hi there, welcome to Ditto Insurance. If you're watching us for the first time, let me tell you that we are Ditto Insurance. We are an insurance advisory platform and we're backed by Zerodha. We have 10,000 plus reviews on Google. So if you're here looking for health or term insurance advice, then head to the link in the description and book a free consultation with us with a link in the description. Now, today we have an interesting review of one of our prime recommendations when it comes to term insurance, and that is Tata AIA. And to exactly discuss and get into the details, I have with me Sushant, our in-house senior program manager here at Ditto. Welcome, Sushant.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So, Sushant, I think let's break down the discussion of why we even recommend Tata AI in the first place. Let's take a look at their metrics and then take the discussion in your way.
Sure. I think firstly, a bit of background about the company in itself and why they deserve our recognition. So Tata AIA is a joint venture between the Tata Sons and the AIA Group from Hong Kong. Tata Sons own about 74% and AIA has about a 26% stake. So obviously backed by one of the largest and most trusted names in India. Two, I think coming to their overall performance metrics, they've maintained a very impressive claim settlement ratio of about 98.9, which is, I think on paper looks quite good. If I were to even look at their complaint volume, it's quite low. I think they come in at about 3 complaints for every 10,000 claims, which is very impressive, whereas the industry average is about 7 to 8 if I'm not wrong. Their policy acceptance rate is also worth noting. It comes in at about 92.7% for every 100 applications that they kind of get in. So yeah, all in all, I think on paper their numbers look really, really good. Now we can probably deep dive a bit more into the kind of plans they offer.
All right, let's go.
So Tata AIA not only deals in pure term insurances, they also deal in ULIP plans, which are your market-linked investment and insurance plans. They deal in retirement plans as well, which help you plan your financial future and safeguard your sort of retirement. And they also deal in general savings and investment plans, which are otherwise known as endowment plans, which are fixed guaranteed returns and some form of protection as well. But today, I think we'll personally be diving in only into their pure term insurance plans because that's what Ditto recommends at the end of the day. So coming to Tata's pure term insurance schemes, they offer 2 term insurance plans, Sampoorna Raksha Promise or SRP and Maha Raksha Supreme Select or MRSS for convenience sake. So firstly, I'll break down the Sampoorna Raksha Promise plan. That in itself has 2 variants under it. There's a Life Promise and a Life Promise Plus variant. There's not much difference between these two. Life Promise is a pure term insurance plan, whereas Life Promise Plus comes with a return of premium attached to it.
And that's something that we don't recommend here at Ditto.
No. Or ideally, look, it doesn't make sense, right? Going for return of premium plan means you end up paying the company a higher amount, and at the end of the tenure, they give you back all your premiums without any adjustment for inflation or interest. Now, in case I'm pumping in more money, I would like some form of returns at least, right? Whereas the point here being that, look, in term insurance, you don't get anything back if nothing happens. But in order to give it back to you, they charge you a bit more and then they give you back your premiums. Now, what I'd much rather you do, and if you run the numbers yourself, it would make sense that instead of paying the amount to them, that additional outflow, why don't I just go and invest that on my own somewhere and all those returns are mine at the end of it.
Makes sense.
And considering it's such a long tenure, the power of compounding will be in your favor and you really will make some decent money there.
Right.
So yeah, return of premium is not something we'd ever suggest.
Okay.
Coming to the second term plan that they offer, which was MRSS or Maha Raksha Supreme Select is what it was. So the Maha Raksha Supreme Select has 2 variants once again under it. They have the Life Secure variant and the Life Secure Plus variant. Once again, similar to the previous plan, there's no difference between these two other than the fact that one is a pure term plan and one has a return of premium attached to it. So plain and simple, they've done it similarly, right? You have 2 types of term insurances with 2 variants under it. Okay. A normal term plan and a return of premium term plan. So I think, yeah, that's about it in terms of a brief introduction to these 2 policies. Let's probably dwell further into the first variant now, which is the SRP, Sampoorna Raksha Promise. Pretty interesting plan. One, I think the minimum age of entry is 18, like it is in most term insurances. The maximum tenure, I can go until the age of 100, right? Whereas most term plans limited to 85. Okay. Tata offers something called a whole life plan, which means you can buy it all the way until 100.
So that is a form of term plan, but then the term is 100. So it's exactly like whole life insurance.
Pretty much. It's called whole life insurance, but it's a pure term insurance like, like any other term plan.
Okay.
Although I think common sense would prevail here and tell you that, look, buying it till 100 essentially means it's a money back plan, right?
Yeah.
Sure, there might be a 1% chance or even less than that someone lives beyond that, but The insurance company will probably see it as a money back plan that, hey, we do need to pay this out at the end of it, so your premiums would be very high accordingly.
Yeah.
I think that goes without saying. The minimum policy tenure here as well is a bit interesting. Most term plans say that you have to buy it for a minimum of 10 years, but these guys even offer it to you for a minimum of 4 years, which is, I think, the lowest that I've seen. Now, again, doesn't really make sense. Why would you buy term insurance just for the next 4 years? Exactly. You would
Like an
want
experience.
exactly, pretty much. So you would want to at least secure, your financial dependency and everything.
Correct.
But yeah, some people do use term insurance just to secure short-term liabilities, right? He has a bit of a loan left. He wants to just cover that. Makes sense. I mean, there probably is something for everyone, but it's a very, very, very rare case scenario. So I would still not probably dwell further into that.
Correct.
Minimum sum insured, I can buy a 50 lakh term insurance with them. So that's another good feature to have. Where someone looking for just a nominal basic coverage, you can probably consider Tata. Maximum coverage, this bit's interesting that they don't have any upper limit. Subject to, of course, your eligibility.
Correct.
In term insurance, if you want to buy a 50 crore plan, you should have the financial proofs and eligibility for it accordingly.
Correct.
But thankfully, Tata does give you that option. Yeah. And lastly, for the SRP plan, you need a minimum of 3 lakhs for annual income in order to buy a term plan. So they've really tried to cater this as a one-for-all term plan where, anyone can buy it and you will find something or the other or some form of eligibility will be met here. So I think that comes to their SRP variant.
Okay. And how about the premium payments?
Pretty standard like most other companies. You have the option to pay regularly, which is the entire tenure you've chosen. You can pay for a limited tenure or limited pay as we call it, or you can even have a single payment tenure. Meaning I can buy the plan for the next 30 years, but I pay one single premium today. Now this, of course, if you do the math, works out to be a couple of lakhs at least, right? A 1 crore plan purchased for 30, 40 years, you could easily expect to shell out about 3-4 lakhs. But that's it, you're done with it, right? You've just paid in one go and it's done. So yeah, it is convenient for some at the end of the day.
All right. So that mostly covers the first variant. That's the SRP. Let's now head to MRSS. It's a mouthful to say, but MRSS.
Let's stick to the abbreviation.
Yeah.
So I think they've done a decent job as well. Although they're catering to a slightly different sector of the audience.
Okay.
Meaning that here the minimum cover amount I can buy is 2 crore and above. I can't get anything less than 2 crore here. In order to buy this term plan, my income should be at least 15 LPA.
Okay.
So some term insurance companies do this where they target high net worth individuals or they launch a plan to target high net worth individuals. Logic here being that, look, maybe how they see it is that one, their ability to pay premiums is a lot better. So the risk for the company is a bit lesser. The risk in terms of the fraud, the other aspects in terms of disclosures and so on, it's their calculation that, look, it might be a bit lesser. So in terms of costing, a 2 crore MRSS plan versus a 2 crore SRP plan, MRSS might work out for you slightly cheaper. Because yes, you've met all the other criteria. Your income is a decent level, right? You're buying a good amount of cover and not a basic 50 lakh, 1 crore and so on. Other than that, it's pretty much similar to the SRP itself, right? In terms of the tenure, the premium payment options, no changes there. It's just the eligibility changes that I need a minimum, I can buy a minimum of 2 crores and I need a minimum of 15 lakhs to be considered for this policy.
Now, let's discuss a few toppings. I mean, in this case, riders. So, what riders are both these plans offering?
Right. Both these plans do come with some impressive and comprehensive riders. First, let's address the free inbuilt toppings. So firstly, you have something called terminal illness coverage, where in case someone's diagnosed terminally ill, you get 50% of the sum insured on diagnosis. Meaning whatever cover you've purchased, half the cover will be paid upfront. Now, the nature of terminal illness is such that when diagnosed, the doctor clearly says that this person probably has less than 6 months left to live. So essentially, the insurance company is just fast tracking 50% of the amount, and the balance 50 will be paid post the demise of the insured member.
Oh, so it will be paid out.
It will be paid out.
Okay.
Yes, the balance 50 will be paid post the death. Okay. It's just 50 is given as an advance amount that, in case you could avail some treatment or essentially just get some peace of mind, right? Knowing that, hey, my family did get some amount and you've taken care of liabilities, you've set up things financially for them. It could be for any reason.
Right, that's a good write-up.
Then you have something called the life stage benefit, where it's just the insurance company's way to make sure that you stay with them in the future as well. Meaning you buy a 1 crore plan today, and 5 years later you realize, hey, I want to increase my cover because of a life stage that just occurred. Let's say like I just got married or I have kids. the insurance company lets you come back to them and they will revise this plan for you itself. They let
Do you need to tell them that, hey, I got married, now I have kids, so I want to
Oh,
increase?
absolutely, yeah. So
Yeah.
life stage benefit comes with clear definitions on what the life stages are. Most companies follow three of them, which is marriage, first child, and second child.
Okay.
So if you get married, within 6 months of that event occurring, you need to contact the insurance company saying that, hey, I've just got married, I'd like to increase my cover now. And same goes for the other stage as well. You have a kid, come back and tell the company within 6 months that, hey, I just had a kid and I'd like to add on some more coverage.
Okay.
And it makes sense, right? I mean, my family size grew, my risk grew, my financial protection needs to increase.
Right.
Then they have something called the instant cover payout, which is in case your policy is for a sum insured of 1 crore or more, and the claim comes in at least 3 years after purchasing the policy. When your family goes to file for a claim, the insurance company will pay them 3 lakh rupees upfront. The day the claim is filed, 3 lakhs is credited to their account.
Okay.
The balance will be paid eventually, of course, after processing the paperwork, going through the documents and everything. But there's a small amount of instant payout that they kind of offer. Other companies do this as well. I personally see this as a bit of a marketing gimmick, right? That, hey,
Sure.
just some money for now and we'll pay you the rest shortly.
We'll get back to you.
Exactly. But they will obviously do their due diligence, go through all the documentation, and once everything's in order, the balance amount will be paid out.
Right. These expenses can help maybe for funeral charges
Exactly.
or
Just for a
clear
couple
the
of
hospital
days.
bills.
Absolutely. Just in case, like you rightly said, there could be immediate expenses, so why not take care of those?
Right.
The other one is something called the Flexi Pay benefit. This is the last free add-on. This allows you to defer your premium payment by up to 12 months at most. So meaning for the insured member, in the future, in case there are some financial liabilities that come up or he's going through a tough time, probably lost his job or expenses shot up at home, he can defer the premium payments for a span of 1 year and still have his policy active. Obviously, he will have to pay those premiums a year later, but
he
the
does?
insurance, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But the insurance company at least let you keep your policy active without letting it lapse, right? Otherwise, that's what happens where if I don't pay my premium, they stop offering me the coverage.
Right.
But here, at least they are trying to understand a situation that could occur.
Understood. So, actually, quite comprehensive free add-ons, I must say, because they have all of these premium add-ons. Now let's look at what paid add-ons look like for Tata AIA's plans.
So they actually have quite a few paid ones as well. Some of the most common ones, like the accidental death plan, the accidental death rider. In case there's an accidental death, they pay out a higher sum insured. So your base plan is paid out, but you're paid an amount over and above that. They have something called the Criticare benefit, which covers about 40 critical illnesses, and you are paid out whatever amount you opted for. They have the accident and total permanent disability rider, where in case of a disability as well, you're given financial support. They have the premium waiver option on critical illness, wherein in case of a critical illness or disability, your premiums are waived off from that point on. They have some slightly unique ones as well, like one of them would be the HospiCare benefit. This is more of a health insurance feature, but some term insurance companies do offer it.
Okay.
So what this essentially does is that in case you're hospitalized in the future, in health insurance, this term is known as daily cash benefit, where every day you get a small amount of allowance, like 1,000 to 1,000 rupees. This could be to cover your daily miscellaneous expenses for your family members or even for your income loss or whatever it is. But Tata AIA offers this in their term insurance as well. This is daily allowance if you're hospitalized.
Understood.
And last one is something called the Vitality program, where you're offered discounts and benefits for staying healthy. Once again, a bit of a unique feature and more of a health insurance feature.
Yeah.
Where if you maintain a good physical fitness and all of that, next year you're given a discount.
Okay.
So Tata does that for their term plan as well. Because look, I mean, if you're being healthy, the insurance company will reward you for it. You're reducing the risk for them, right? So they obviously do want to financially reward you for that.
Understood. So among these paid add-ons, which are the ones that we would recommend?
It honestly depends person to person, right? There is no one answer for that one. While accidental death is not something I would suggest for everyone, there are still people who do need it, right? In terms of, let's say if your profile is such that your occupation or job requires you to travel a lot, then sure, maybe an accidental death one does make sense for you. But the common ones I would suggest for everyone would probably be the critical illness rider and the waiver of premium rider. These two, I think, are obviously can be considered, right? They're common scenarios and no harm in protecting them.
All right, Sushan. So we've covered almost all the bases and all the information that there is to know about both the plans. Now let's look at how much this is going to cost for an individual if they decide to go with Tata AIA.
Cool. So let's create a profile here first. Let's say it's a 30-year-old male, salaried employee, non-smoker, and he's buying it till the age of 65. So the SRP plan for a 1 crore cover of this profile would be about 11,800. Now, in comparison, HDFC would come in at about 15,000 change. ICICI would be almost 13,000, and Max and Bajaj would come in at about 12,500 or so. So, like we can see, Tata actually is the most reasonably priced here for this particular profile.
Definitely.
Now, for the same profile, if I were to look at a 2 crore plan, and here obviously the MRSS plan is what I'm suggesting and not the SRP plan. Once again, Tata is actually the most reasonably priced here. They come in at about 19,000 change, inclusive of taxes. HDFC is the most expensive. I think they are in at about 26,000 a year. And ICICI Max and Bajaj, all of them are quite close to Tata at about 20,000 to 20,500, somewhere between that ballpark. So just a matter of a few hundred of rupees between Tata and these three brands, but still Tata does take the cake here.
Sure, Sushant. Tata AIA is really comprehensive with their offerings and also with the premiums. Now, what are some USPs of Tata AIA which separates it from everyone else?
Right. So I think other than the points that I've already mentioned, one thing that really stood out for me was their coverage for NRIs. So most insurance companies have restrictions in terms of which countries you can purchase your term insurance from. So let's say if you're residing in a certain country, you have to check with the insurance company that, hey, are you willing to sell me a plan here or do you provide service here? Now, Tata, hands down, probably has the most comprehensive list out there, right? They offer coverage in about 140 plus countries, which is the most I've seen compared to most other insurers. You do have some that are close, but like I said, they do come out on top here. In fact, for a lot of these cases as well, and a lot of profiles here, they even offer video medicals, for you to purchase the plan. You don't have to even undergo a physical medical checkup.
Okay.
The comprehensive riders, like I already said, that's probably another point as well. They even offer housewife plans, which is, a homemaker spouse can buy term insurance for herself based on her husband's income and eligibility.
Okay.
And lastly, I think they're particularly good for people with income below 5 lakhs per annum who are looking for a coverage of 50 lakhs and above. Some insurance companies out there do have restrictions that you need minimum of 5 lakhs income, but Tata even lets you buy it if your income is less than 5 lakhs, and they let you opt for a cover of more than 50 lakhs as well. So yeah, I think these are probably some of the points that stood out for me personally.
Great, great. Very nicely put, Sushant. Now, finally, to end this discussion, what does Ditto recommend?
Look, the MRSS and the SRP plans are probably some of the most comprehensive plans we've seen, and they come in the top 5 term insurances out there in the country right now. But I think it's worth mentioning that based on our experience working with them, their post-sale service and support could use a bit of improvement. Wherein post the application, getting your medical checkup done, the coordination required for that can be a bit easier rather than the current process that it is. And once the policy is issued as well, you do have that 30-day free look period to make changes. I found that to be a lot easier in other insurers as opposed to how it is with Tata right now. Again, good products and good brand. It's just slight service and operational issues that we've come across. But yeah, I think that's probably worth mentioning.
All right. So, would you recommend these plans, say, to your clients?
Absolutely, no denying that. I think for any profile, right, if you're a young professional looking for comprehensive coverage, if you're an NRI residing, in multiple countries and you would like to be covered with an Indian term insurance, they're probably one of your best options. High net worth individuals who probably want competitive premium rates, for them as well, I think plans like the MRSS really do offer you good premiums and discounts. And lastly, I think if anyone's interested in wellness benefits in their term insurance, like we covered, that's a bit rare in the insurance industry, considering the whole locked-in premiums and everything, but Tata does offer you some benefits on that too.
Great. So, that was a super brief and really well structured discussion, Sushant. Thanks to you. And folks, this brings us to the end of this podcast. And if you like this, then please like, share, and subscribe. And comment if you have any doubt. And we will see you in the next one. Happy insurance hunting.